We are not another podcast. I'm here with, who am I here with?
You're here with Ben from Not a Podcast. Definitely not doing one of those, but we do have things we like to talk about.
Yeah,
So what do
today
you got?
today there's going to be like a full list of stuff and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. I'm a little bit
Oh
scared.
boy,
I'm a little bit scared because
as well you should be.
I feel like the topics are they're going to raise some eyebrows. Is that how you say it? Brows? Eyebrows?
No, that is not how you say it.
How do you say it?
Eyebrows. There's no awls. There's no jowls
No
in it.
jowls. All right, so the things that we're going to be talking about tonight is we're going to be talking about some updates for the Mythic Edition Fiasco, which we covered last time. Well, not last time. One of the last times that we didn't do a podcast. That joke's going to get super old. I'm just telling you
Yeah,
now.
we'll have to figure something else
We're
out.
going to figure out a different name or something. So we're going to talk about the Mythic Edition. What happened there? Last time we talked, we talked about what we think Wizards might give us as a sorry gift or a consolation gift. So we'll get into that. We want to talk about Yuuya Watanabe and what happened to him. It was a big move in the MPL, which is the Magic Pro League. And on that same kind of controversial line, we will talk a little bit about the ProJared situation. ProJared is a big time YouTuber in the gaming space, particularly like video games, right?
Yeah, yep. And he's dabbled in doing some official stuff with Wizards too.
Yeah, he's done some official Wizard stuff as well. So kind of one of those gaming personalities. So we'll talk about his situation, and I think it'll be an interesting discussion because I have been in similar spots as Pro Jared has. So it's a little bit of a scary topic for me to cover because you never want to say something that's going to upset people, and
Well,
like
well.
I don't want to upset people, right? Like, but also like we're gonna talk about some sensitive stuff. So, anyways, let's launch right into it. Okay, so last time we talked about the Mythic Edition Fiasco. Basically, what happened is there was a bunch of people who ordered this Mythic Edition premium product from Wizards of the Coast, and their orders were canceled. They were not completed successfully, and what that means is that Wizards Coast had to cancel a bunch of orders and then say, okay, only 12,000 of you are going to get this fancy product, and as a consolation prize, we're going to give you something. So, what did you think they were going to give us, Ben?
Well, I was the voice of reason and sensibility, which clearly has no space in this topic. And I thought the upcoming WPN packs would have been more than enough because at the end of the day, it wasn't Wizards' fault. They're already being compensated from eBay,
Uh,
but that's never good enough for the Magic community. What instead did they get, Medina?
so, well, let me talk about what I thought first before we get into what we did get. So, I thought we were going to get uh, a box topper. Okay, because I said, look, they set the bar with the box toppers already. They can't come back and give us these lame, packs, right? Because the box toppers are worth way more than these packs. So it would really be a feel bad if we got these packs. So I said, I think it's going to be a box topper or some kind of, commemorative foil or something, right? Well, Wizards of the Coast decided to just blow the doors off and instead give us all all of us whose orders were canceled are getting a foil uncut sheet. A foil uncut. Here it is. It says eBay will be sending a uncut foil sheet of mythic and rare cards from War of the Spark to everyone whose order was canceled. Wow. So last time I
Wow.
checked on eBay, these sheets were going for about $300. Now I don't expect that to hold because there's going to be a lot of these sheets out there, but wow, right? I mean, is that better than a box topper?
That's better than nothing. That's what they basically said is, Medina, we feel bad for some reason, mainly because everyone's crying. So what we're going to do is we're going to send you this thing, and you're actually going to have to spend money to enjoy this thing. So you are going to have to go buy a frame if you want to keep it.
Okay.
So how much the frame for something like that cost?
Well, I was talking to my friend, and he said if you want to frame it well, okay, if you want to frame it with like the museum grade glass and, you know, get it real nice, you know, and that kind of thing, then it was going to be like $300 to frame it.
Okay, so what they're giving you for not being able to spend your money is for you to spend more than you would have on the box on a frame for a thing that is just a widget, is just a thingamajig in the background. I mean, you know how I feel about foils. Well, like first of all, so everyone knows this isn't someone who didn't get it being salty. Tell everyone my view on foils.
Well, I mean, Ben doesn't like foils. That's just
at all.
That's his view on them. He's not happy with them.
So not only is it foil, but it's not even a usable thing. It's just, I mean, it's like a poster. It's just a fancy looking poster.
So you don't like it. You're not a big fan.
No, I mean, I actually think it's a worse thing than the WPN pack, because it's actually, that's a tangible, usable thing for the average Magic player.
Would you trade me your foil sheet for a couple of those WPN packs?
I'd trade my foil sheet to the dumpster guy down the road because I mean, I literally wouldn't use it or do anything with it.
Okay, so let's talk numbers. People want to know, what are these sheets going to be worth? We don't know. We don't know how many sheets are going to get printed. We don't know if it's 10,000 or 20,000, or we don't know.
Well, that's in addition to the ones that have already been printed for the set, right? So this is going to be just even more than would normally be out for a regular set.
Yeah, well, I don't know, like, how many. I just don't. I don't have a lot of information about this kind of thing. Like, how many sheets do they usually print? How many are usually out there floating around? Do you know? Do you have any concept?
I mean, I don't. How often do you see them going up for sale?
Not very often. You
right,
usually you have to win those, you know?
Right. So you're going to go from not very often to everybody and their little brother is going to have one, either in the background of their stream or trying to sell it on eBay.
Oh, yeah. Mine's going to go right here in museum glass.
Yeah. So sorry that you couldn't spend $250 on this amazing product. Instead, you'll spend $300 on this other thing that will be of no value to you. So,
don't judge me, man. Don't judge me.
No, that's a complete judge on the community at large, not just.
So, like, some people are asking, what are they going to be worth? I think that they'll probably be worth, like my instinct says, between $50 and $100.
Woo! Like, that low.
Yeah. I mean, at first, because they're going to flood the market and people are going to want to cash in. You know, they're gonna want to get out and get what they can. You know, and so I think that at first they'll be in that range, 50 to 100, and then I think that they'll appreciate, because what'll happen is there are people who have the cutting machine, right? So,
oh yes, that's the other part of this, right?
Right. So, like, back in the day, there was a thing called, so in the miscut community, there's this polarizing methodology, I guess you can call it, or polarizing niche thing, where people take sheets, uncut sheets, and they cut them all like weird, and they cut them like purposely, like severely miscut, so that you can have a really gnarly miscut card. And they're called NFCs, which stands for not factory cut. And so that was a lucrative kind of business for a minute, because it was like a new thing. People didn't see all these gnarly cards. And when it first started happening, people were like, oh, that's really cool, I want to get some. And there was this like kind of rift in the miscut community. Some people were like, that's not a true miscut, because you did that on purpose. It's not like the purists didn't like it, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that there are people with these machines who are doing the NFCs. Mm-hmm. And the NFCs, as they stand, they still sell for like about 125 to 150% of the value. So you'd be paying like 25 or 50% more for a card that's NFC versus, just a regular card. And they are tournament playable if the head judge approves it. Typically, if you have the mana cost, the name, the text, then you can still pass it and it could be tournament playable. And right. So what I'm saying is those people with those machines are just going to probably cut a bunch of these sheets. So if they drop to like $150, I can see these people just buying them up in mass and just cutting them and selling those foils. So what's probably going to happen, I feel like these foils are going to devalue the value of regular foils in the set, which is going to undermine the price of the boxes. Because right now the boxes are really rock solid, and they would have been a really good investment going down the road. But now the foil value of that stuff is kind of getting, what I would liken it to is probably the foils will have the same like arc or footprint as the Alara foils. Because
what was special about those?
The Alara foils had special all foil packs. So you could buy a pack of all foil cards.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
You don't remember that?
I came in Zendikar World Wake, so
okay.
I wasn't here for the hype cycle that is the Alara block.
Yeah, so they had foil booster packs where you would buy it and they were all foils. So all the Alara foils, which should be just nuts right now, are nearly like worthless. They're pretty much the same price or very close to the same price as like the non-foil copy. You're right. Uthanak is saying that they changed the foiling process, which is true. It was not great because they printed them in mass, right?
Right. So now these are coming rolled up more than likely, right, in a tube. Will that make it more difficult to get these to lay flat for a cutting process? I mean,
no. I think you clamp them down when you cut them.
Okay.
And same thing with like when you frame it, it's gonna get clamped down and kind of like position and stuff like that. But yeah, we could probably see some of these things getting damaged in transit though, because those tubes are always not very secure. And so I'm waiting for the pictures on social media of, oh look I got mine, and it's like bent in half or whatever.
And then of course the next thing will be, well, what should I get in return for this free thing that I got that's damaged?
Right, the consolation
I should get something else. I should get a
consolation prize.
Mythic edition for this inconvenience.
Mythic edition 4 if your sheet gets damaged.
It's just, when will the madness stop? That's it's just unbelievable. I don't know what kind of privileged that people are that they think that not only did they not get the thing.
What are you mad about? Why are you mad, bro?
It's not mad. It's just sad, really. It's actually the community. It seems, and that it could be the vocal minority. That's what you always see, right, on Twitch or Twitch on Twitter. But we are not owed anything from a corporation. If you see any other corporation do these type of things, like if your flight gets delayed,
well, you get a voucher.
Yeah, a voucher for a flight. You don't get a free private jet. Like, this is what the Magic community want. They feel like they get owed above and beyond the thing that you didn't get.
It's hard to walk this line though, because like I do have like a lighthearted view of this, right? Because I've said my piece on this before. I try to focus on the good things of my life, and the blessings in my life, rather than the things that are like tilting or annoying or whatever.
Right.
Because, there's so much more to be thankful for than there is to be mad about, right? And I think when you choose to get really super mad about something, you kind of like warp your reality by pushing all those things that you could be happy about out of the way, right?
Right. So this is rewarding those people. the people that are getting upset and angry about these things, this is rewarding that behavior
Right, and like
by
I said,
getting these foil sheets.
but we have to understand though that they do have a valid complaint about what happened. What happened to them was not pleasant. It didn't go as it should have gone, right?
Right.
And so there is some kind of like something to complain about. There is some kind of right that they have to complain about the way that the business went down, right?
I'm gonna have to agree to disagree.
Do you disagree that they should that they it should that would that the what happened was fine? Do you think what
I
happened was fine?
I gotta imagine this kind of stuff happens with, like, say, Comic-Con tickets, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
everybody's in a mad rush for Comic-Con tickets. There's got to be some sort of mistakes that happen like that. People don't get outraged enough to demand Stanley autograph merchandise in compensation because
Well,
their credit card got charged.
Nobody demanded anything though, really, right? Did they demand?
Yes,
No,
yes,
no. But what
because
I'm
they set a
saying,
precedent with the other one.
well, yeah, they did set a precedent. But what I'm saying
So
is like,
where do they go from here? Where do they go?
but
So if
that's
there's
Wizards'
another,
fault, isn't it? Wizards' fault to do that though. It's not our fault, right?
I honestly just hope that they don't do any more special stuff like this. I want to go back to just boxes. No, it's just ridiculous because all it does, I've seen this on Twitter now, and other people talking where they're like, you know what? I'm not even interested in this product, but I'm going to
Buy
order it so it gets canceled
Right.
just so I can get the free thing that will happen inevitably because this is what's going on. So now people are just going to try to buy these things with no intention of wanting them or using them or even wanting to get them just to get the free thing for when
Well,
they get canceled.
if the order goes well, then they just bought the thing, which is fine, right?
But they don't want the thing. They probably can't afford the thing.
Well,
They just want the free thing.
Well, they shouldn't buy things like that they can't afford just to get something in hopes that it's going to break down, right? That's a silly kind of methodology, wouldn't you agree?
I mean, people are pretty silly right now, so
Uh,
I would also agree.
The thing I want to make the point about is I understand what you're saying, right? Like, we're kind of, in a way, we're not owed a foil sheet or a box topper, right? But we can't say that it all went smoothly and that there isn't a reason to be upset. Now, is there a reason to ask for something in return? That's a whole nother question, right? There's two different things happening here. There's the problem that happened, and we can't say it wasn't a problem. It was definitely a problem. So people's feelings, I feel, are justified in the sense that they're justified in feeling, wow, that did not go well. And
Right.
my money is still held up. Okay. There's still money that I haven't gotten yet. Okay. So I got one refund because what happened was I ordered a box and it would only let me order one box.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ordered one and then I ordered a second one because I said, oh, they let me order that one. Let me order another one because it's two per person, right? So then I ordered a second one. So I've gotten the refund for one box yesterday, but I still haven't gotten a refund for the other box. So here I am. I'm still waiting on the money. Now, that's annoying, but it's also, I didn't expect to have the money because I expected,
And that's exactly right.
yeah, I
People
expected
that
to
are
have
complaining
box,
about it,
you know,
exactly.
not money. And so, like, I would still rather have the box than the money. But the point being is that now that the order was canceled, I would want the money back because I'm like, okay, like, that didn't work, but now don't hold my money for a week. Like, give it back to me now because,
Right.
you know, and so
Well,
like those kind of things, I feel like people have they have a dog in the fight. They get to like complain about that. Now, do they get to expect Wizards to give them something for it? That's another question about entitlement and whatnot. But I will say that it's kind of Wizards' fault for setting the precedent ahead of time, being like, we did these box toppers. Now they got to go and do something similar.
let me pose this to you. So
Okay.
say this whole fiasco happened
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't do anything for you. They didn't do anything and eBay didn't do anything for you. Everybody's real salty.
Yeah.
Next set, same thing happens. There's going to be a Mythic Edition, 12,000 units on eBay.
Uh-huh.
Do you think they're not going to sell out in 6 minutes?
I
Honestly,
think
honestly, come on now.
You're saying
It
Will
wouldn't
they?
change anything. They would still sell out just as
Oh
fast. They would
yeah,
still make
yeah.
all their money.
It depends on
And
the. It
those
depends on the set.
same people who are bitter and salty about it would be the same people trying to get the next one.
No, no. It depends on the set because like Mythic Edition 2 did not sell out in 6 minutes.
It's because they flashed the real numbers.
No, it's because the Mythic Edition 2 is not great.
Right. Are you still able to buy it from them?
You
Like,
can,
is it?
I don't know if you can still buy it, but you can get them for like $300 on the open market. It's just not very good. It's not as good as this one. This one is just dumb. You know,
Well,
it's just.
Agreed.
It should have been $500. Remember? That's what. You know.
Yes, of course it should have been.
Of course. So, anyways, the Mythic Edition. Those are the updates. As we do this podcast, we will keep you updated with whatever we know. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments because I will answer your questions the best of my ability. I've been keeping up with all that stuff. And so, yeah, let's talk. Should we move on to our next topic, or did you have more to say about the Mythic Edition? I'll give you the final word.
I hope this is the last Mythic Edition, but I fear the pockets of Hasbro will say otherwise. I feel they should leave the premium products to standalone premium products and don't bring that premium product into regular sets because it just causes way more heartache and frustrations.
Okay.
From the vaults, 2020.
Hot take. You're here to hear first, folks. Yeah.
Scalding hot.
Scalding hot take. All right. Let's move on.
Moving on
to this statement regarding Yuuya Watanabe. Yuuya Watanabe was disqualified from the Mythic Championship 2 for marked sleeves. Okay? They said that his Tron lands were marked in a way that was distinguishable from the other cards in his deck. None of the other cards were marked based on the judgment of the judges, and they disqualified him for that.
Question.
Yes.
Did you think in a million years they would actually send tweets of the pictures of those? I thought that was a basic slap in the face.
That wasn't the Wizards.
No, that was the judges. That was one of the judges that sent that.
No.
Who was it?
It wasn't. It was Yuuya Watanabe's team. So
this was before that.
No, this
was the judges saying, no, this is really marked.
The judges showed it.
The judges, I think it was, well, I don't say the names on, I'll look for it.
Because what I understood is the team released the photos
after. This happened the day of.
Yeah, I didn't know
when they announced that he was disqualified, everyone's like, oh, well, we'll never see the pictures of it. And then, like, within the hour, we saw the pictures.
Yeah, I didn't know that the judges released the pictures. I know that the team released the pictures, like the day after or something, saying, "Here's what the markings look like," and then the team conducted an investigation, and
I like that.
They supported Yuuya, saying,
"Yep.
Here's why we support him. He had no reason to cheat for these reasons." Then then Wizards finished their investigation and has come out with this situation where they said, well, he did cheat, and we looked at the past, we looked at what happened, and they're going to ban Yuuya for 30 months.
That's the least of his concerns about this.
Right. He's going to be removed from the MPL, which means no more $75,000 check to be a full-time Magic person, and then they're also going to remove him from the Hall of Fame. Wow.
So I just linked a tweet from April King, who is one of the judges, I do believe, and these were the original pictures that we all saw on April 30th.
I believe these pictures are from the team. Or maybe the same pictures.
Yeah, I think they were using the pictures that...
No. Here it is here. Look at... so Ricky Hayashi says, I think it's important to have a link available to the original article. Although it's in Japanese, Google Translate does a decent enough job. So he links the article where April got the pictures. which is
Okay.
from the team. So
Okay.
it was the team from that I understand that released the pictures of the sleeves.
But why would they release those pictures? Because
Because
the pictures are like the most damning evidence, right?
well, I think they just said, "Hey, we're going to release these pictures cuz this is part of our team, you know?"
Right.
Oh, look
I,
at that. Urzatron, not Urzatron. Yeah. See, like, so they released it because I think I don't think they were trying to protect Yuya. I think they were just trying to give the information for people, you know?
right.
But I don't know because I haven't read this article. But I know that's where the pictures originated because I constantly try to keep Twitter updated on what's happening. And once
Right.
I like find the source of origin, I always try to like replicate that.
I see. I read the full article of basically his team's defense,
Uh-huh.
and it sounded good. That's the thing. Like it sounded plausible and believable. Like he was checked several times, including right before, and they had no problems with his deck.
Right.
And then the match that he got this additional deck check was after it was like a draw. It was an intentional draw to get in. So like he had no motivation to cheat because he knew he was going to be drawing. So I don't know how his sleeves could be okay 2 rounds ago and then not okay during this win and
Well,
in that was or this draw and in.
Well, what some people were saying were that they weren't okay, even though the judge said it was okay. So what people are saying is that the judge didn't want to alert Yuya; they wanted to observe him based on what they found. So they didn't call it out right there. You know what I mean? There was some pros who did like some. Okay, so I read that the same way you did, and I said, "Oh, I feel like this has a lot of validity." You know, I like what they're saying. I think that, and also I wanted to believe that Yuya was innocent. So
Yeah,
that's one
100%.
thing. You know, full disclosure, I really liked him as a pro. You know, I think a lot of people did, and so like I wanted to believe that. So maybe it's my own like confirmation bias or whatever happening there, but what they said was that these pros were bringing like issues up saying that that just retorting the statement, and I don't know if you read any of those, but first I read the statement, I said yeah, I could see that, and then I read these pros and their threads, their Twitter threads, and I said that's a lot they have some good points here because they really pinpoint like when he had to win, and they show that a deck check could have been just not a sleeve check, but like a check to make sure that the deck is like the 60 cards that needs to be no sideboard or something like that. And so like they maybe didn't check the sleeves in round 14 where he had to win in 14. Like he did have like a reason to cheat in round 14, but it wasn't it maybe these kind of things, all these different doubts. And so let's kind of like what I would like to do is suspend all that because we don't know right whether he cheated or not.
Right.
But what do you think? Let's say he did cheat, and I think we kind of have to trust the judges, in my opinion. Here, they've conducted their investigation. I don't think like the judges have nothing to gain by they're impartial. They're not going to gain anything by doing this to Yuya. But where Yuya has something to gain to say, I didn't cheat. He has his reputation to protect, these kind of things, right?
Right.
Are you comfortable with moving on that like axis, or do you want to say like do you want to fight for Yuya? Let me ask you that.
On the cheating part, I clearly can't fight for him. I have some issue or some discussion about the different levels of his penalty.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I want to talk about. So
Yeah.
let's say he cheated, because that's what the judges found. What do you feel like? Do you feel like this was too harsh, not harsh enough? What do you feel?
I'm okay with everything up to, but not including the Hall of Fame removal,
Wow, yeah, that's the big one, right?
because I looked. I couldn't find any other examples. If they want to take this as an e-sport, so like a sport, no other sporting Hall of Fame has ripped out a member. So basically,
Okay.
is it a Hall of Fame or a until you mess up fame? Like,
Right.
so, in everything else, you can't be in the Hall of Fame until you're done playing, right?
Yeah.
But in Magic, it's different because it's just 10 years after your first Pro Tour, I believe,
That's
something
a
like
good
that.
point. That's a good point because they can't really like scum somebody like and then be like disgrace the Hall of Fame because it's already like passed, right?
Right,
Yeah, your
right.
career's over.
But in Magic, it's just almost like an award, but
Right.
not a Hall of Fame. It's just a lifetime achievement award, basically. You've done good, you've done well, so here's this ring and whatnot. But for them to take it away, it makes it so no one's safe, and if something happens one time, you're gone. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I think that sending like sending a strong message to the rest of the MPL. Look, if you cheat, you're going to get kicked off the MPL. You're going to get banned. It's going to be a big deal.
Those are good.
Those are great.
That right there is a big
I,
deal.
I think we agree with that. I think
100%.
We're good on that, and I like the message they send. I
Yes.
kind of have to like, and I don't know again if this is just because I liked Yuuya, but like I feel like removing from the Hall of Fame, kind of like, why does this like take away all of his previous accomplishments? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
I know it's a feel bad to have like somebody in the Hall of Fame who's like a cheater, but I don't want to go down this road tonight. But like, if you were to take all the
we're
people,
there.
I want to be super careful. But
Nope.
if you were to take all the people in the Hall of Fame and analyze them under a microscope, can you not find any character flaws? Like, are all these guys like flawless?
Also,
no, right?
What another ridiculous thing about all this, and people have clearly brought this up. This happens to UA, right?
Right.
Boom, announcement, everything happens, and they're like, "Oh, and who? What's going on with this guy? You just said he's gone, but there's nothing else." They do an investigation on Watanabe. They kick him out. They remove him from the Hall of Fame, and then old Owen's over there with he's just out of the MPL.
Well,
we're not going to tell you anything.
He is in the Hall of Fame too, right? Owen is in the Hall of Fame.
How is he?
And he's
not
still
out for,
right.
It's ridiculous.
I think this is a question that I ask myself as well. And I'm not jockeying for anybody to get kicked out of anything or for people to rage or whatever. I'm not jockeying for any of that. But
rage.
But what I'm saying is like there is a question here, right? Because you look at this on the surface and you say, well, here's one person. It was very clear what happened, right? It was very clear that that Yuuya cheated and he has been disqualified from the Mythic Championship, then suspended, removed from the MPL. This is boom, clear right here in the announcement. Owen, we didn't hear anything
at all.
He just disappeared. He got Thanos snapped right out of the MPL website.
Got dusted.
And he got dusted. And then his Twitter account gets cleared and we don't know. Now, what I will say is that I had the same question and I was reading some different takes on it, some different people's opinions and whatnot. And the opinion that keeps coming up, and I think it's a valid one, is that there are legal issues with the Owen situation. So if there's lawyers involved and if there's like legal issues, it's hard for Wizards to make a statement about Owen without defaming him or, you know what I mean? Without stepping into areas where it's kind of like cloudy. And I think what somebody said, and I don't know if this is true, but what I heard somebody say is that the Wizards of the Coast lawyers told them that they can remove him from the MPL, but not remove him without an announcement, is what the lawyers said. That's what, and I don't know if that's true. That's what I heard. So,
but here's my thing. Again, we'll try to pretend like Magic's a real sport. Okay, we'll go down that road. NFL, guy gets a DUI, hits a guy. They don't have to wait for legal ramifications. They suspend him for 5-6 games because of defamation to the game. So
but that's because the guy got arrested. That's because
they can do it for anything because you have to sign like a you're going to be a good person and represent our league in a way that you should. Anything that falls out of that is free reign for them.
Right. Let's before we continue, because I want to continue with this.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, that train is set sail, my friend.
We've got the train.
We're gone.
It's in full motion. The train's in full motion. But what we do want to say is say hello to the chat. Again, for those of you who are watching on YouTube or listening wherever you're listening, we do this live on Twitch. The chat is here. They're in strong force. Dub, what's up? What you missed was the War of the Spark Mythic Edition updates and the discussion about that. We are now discussing Yuuya and Owen, and then we will be moving over to discuss the ProJared situation. And then after that, we will take questions from the audience, which is the chat. And then we'll close the show, but then we're going to do some late night cube building.
Medina After Dark.
We're going to call it Cube After Dark. But welcome, 9 out of Ben, my brother.
9 out of Ben.
Welcome.
Nice seeing you, sir.
We are podcasting live, so welcome to the show. If you all, trying to work on the guys thing, if you all want to ask a question, make sure to tag Ben or I in the question so we can see it on our chats.
Preferably me, because I watch it like a hawk.
Ben is really good at watching chat.
So.
Oh, like a hawk. Okay, so the Owen thing, what is... Do you see the validity in this legal situation? Do you think that's just not even close? Do you think that's not a reason?
If what is said is true, right, which I have no reason to not believe the allegations, I think that is worse for Magic. It's a bigger black eye than a one-time cheating event, where this is a thing that's happened over many years. And it's just, I think it's a bigger black eye in the fact that they're okay with him but not okay with Watanabe. The other thing you hear is the Asian bias, right? Like they say that because he's not American and he's not local, that we're okay with just kicking him to the curb. I mean, that
is floating around. Do you believe it though?
I think it's easier for him.
Why?
Because they don't have to deal.
They don't have to deal with what?
They don't have to deal with people outside of the country.
Oh, so you feel like there'll be more of an outcry over Owen than there would be over Yuuya?
For him specifically, probably not, because there's a very loud outcry.
I'm just saying, man. A lot of people love Yuuya, man. You know.
I'm one of them. I like all the old school guys that are in the Hall of Fame for everyone. But yeah.
What's in the Hall of Fame?
But regardless, like, even at that, the Hall of Fame is like of your achievements, and if that was recognized to be a high enough achievement to enter the Hall of Fame, I just don't know how you can remove them. It's just, I don't think it looks good, because then it just looks like a revolving door of people that we're okay with.
Yeah.
And that isn't a Hall of Fame.
It feels like a punitive thing, right? Like, you did something wrong and now we're going to punish you with this removal. I understand that. And again,
back with Saito, same thing. Like, he was.
Well, they didn't put him in the Hall of Fame because of that. He was voted in the Hall of Fame, and during that waiting period of being voted in and then actually having that ceremony, he had that slow play scandal thing. Yeah, it was the slow play thing. He was asking what Jason Mind Sculptor did or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And then they're like, we suddenly don't think your previous achievements were good enough. Like, again, the Asian bias is there. Right? Like, are there any other examples?
Let's not say the Asian bias is there. I'm not down with that. I'm not gonna say it's there. I can see where the question would be raised. But
questions, comments, and concerns.
Yes, questions, comments, and concerns for sure. You know, I can hear that, but to me, it's like, I'm not sure that there's enough evidence to support an Asian bias or any kind of bias, right? I'm not sure that the question's there. Like, Yuuya cheated. You know,
But I guess is there?
like
I don't.
it's not like they were like, Yuuya, you're Asian, so we're gonna do this stuff to you. You know, they didn't just pick him and just like say, well, sorry man, you're Asian. No, they said he cheated, and you know they had to deal with him. The way I look at it is this: you know, they have these two situations that they have to deal with, and they're different. They're of different makeup. Okay, one is something that happened within the game, within the sport, that they can easily rule on and say, this is the ruling, you did this in the sport. Okay? Sorry. The other
Dub
one
keeps hitting you with the Bertoncini.
Okay,
Or the...
we'll catch up on that part. But the other one is, you know, something that's outside of the sport, and we don't know what is available. Like, is there evidence available? Is there things that, you know, is there an investigation happening? And now, trust me, like, I'm not saying, like, we shouldn't believe the victims of Owen, and I'm not saying that, you know, show me the evidence before. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying, what I'm saying is that there are other considerations that Wizards has to weigh. I do think some legal concerns. I think there are some things that, and I think basically Owen's situation, it's not saying that they're going to not deal with it. What I think it's saying is that it's just going to take longer to deal with it than the Yuuya one, which was like very cut and dry, in my opinion.
But the longer they take to not deal with it, makes it easier to not deal with it.
Right, and I think the problem is that the Yuuya thing happened in between dealing with the Owen thing. So, you know, these MPL members are dropping like flies, and it's like, I don't think that was expected. You know, they figured that maybe they only have to deal with one MPL scandal, you know, and now we have two on the burner, you know, and so like, how do you know that's the, you know, you don't know if that's going to happen. So I think Wizards is taking the requisite time and doing the right thing. This is my hope.
There you go.
Hope. My hope is that they're doing the right thing to deal with the Owen situation, and I think that we should get a statement. And I don't think that we should get like the gory details or anything like that. I think
100% agree.
I think we should get a statement though that at least says he's not in the MPL anymore, but he will remain in the Hall of Fame, or he's not in the MPL and he will be removed from the Hall of Fame. Like, we should know what's happening because they've already set the precedent with Yuuya. So, you know, we should also...
And we all know how Magic players like their precedents.
We do like those, you know. If you get sent a box topper, you know, you better send a foil sheet next time, you know. And
I guess if a guy draws 2 cards on his turn and he's in the Hall of Fame, we got to kick him out. He cheated. Gone. Later, LSV.
Oh man. So we're in the realm of controversy, and I think Ben wanted to talk about the ProJared situation. Why do you feel
hand in hand?
Why do you feel they go hand in hand? Like let's bridge the gap here. Now, for those of you who don't know, ProJared is a YouTuber, right? And he was like a gaming YouTuber, like video games, this kind of stuff. And he is the controversy that's happening right now, or the thing is he's going through a divorce right now, right? Him and his wife are getting divorced, and the reason why is because he cheated on her. She's alleging that he cheated on her, and there seems to be a lot of cooperation with that, you know. Right. And I don't know all the super details, right? Because I don't want to. I'm being super careful what I say because I don't know the details because I haven't like read up, but I have kind of like skimmed. Yeah,
so is he. So basically, it looks like he's like basically solicited his viewers, one of which was underage, and he's like sending
okay, let's keep it safe for work. By the way, okay.
Pictures. Come on now. I know how to get around subjects.
Okay, let's deftly work around this subject without, you know. I don't want to drag people's minds through the gutter or anything like that, but this is a sensitive topic that, you know, and there is stuff that happened, shady stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he's soliciting his viewers because he's famous, or famous or whatever. He's popular. He had like 1 million subscribers, was it?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, he had like 1 million subscribers.
I knew of him.
And yeah, he's he's sending these pictures and he's receiving pictures, right? And then he's doing other activities that are he's having an affair on his wife with some of these people that he's soliciting, right? So how does this go hand in hand in your imagining?
It's just another black eye, because he's not so much with the magic. I'd say just Watsy, because he's I've seen him on like their D&D streams and stuff like that.
Right.
Like that's mainly where he comes into play as far as Watsy is concerned. And I saw a little blurb, I can't quite see, but they canceled one of their streams and they used another excuse, but he was scheduled to be on that stream, and they came up with some reason why it had to be rescheduled.
Okay.
So again, a non-answer, they don't want to put themselves in their name into that, so that it's just fun.
Yeah,
funny, not fun.
It's not fun. No, it's never fun when something like this happens. So I think that Dub is saying divorce is an ugly thing, which some of which allegations can rarely be proven 100%. This is apples to oranges, right? I think that what's happening is because he is so famous or so well known that his personal life is spilling into the public's eye, and I think that it sounds like he was up to some pretty no good things, right? He was up to like this solicitation stuff, which sounds like there's a lot of cooperation with that. And, his wife and him are having a divorce because of that whole situation and what came of that. And so, I don't think it's like, I don't think we have questions like, oh, did something happen? Did something not? I think stuff is definitely happening, and, it's causing this problem, and it's coming out in the public. And the ugly thing about it to me is I think fans leaving, there's fans who are unsubscribing from his YouTube channel. People are watching it drop from 1 million subscribers to dropping by the tens of thousands, by the hour, And so, he's down into the 900s. I don't know. Maybe he's in the 800s now. I don't know. His
still a big number.
Yeah, it's still pretty big. So what's happening is people are, you look at something like this, and the reason why I said that I have like experience in this area is because I also cheated on my wife. And so that happened 7 years ago now. And when it happened, it was super ugly. It was an ugly thing because cheating on your significant other is ugly. It's not something that there's nothing good about it. And so when that spills out into the public and the details come out, like if you were to share the details of what happened in my situation, it would look really ugly because it is ugly.
Which most people here probably don't, but like you manned up to it on the A-Team, right? You did a whole big cast. You didn't shy away from it. You owned your mistakes, unlike all of these people.
Well, I don't know if I want to get into like comparison or whatever, but what happened
you're not that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. What happened is,
don't worry.
I was part of a bigger podcast at the time, and I had to leave the podcast because what I did is I told my wife about what happened, and I came clean, right? And not that I get an award for that or whatever, but I was having really a lot of struggles internally with what was going on. There was a big identity crisis, and I was seeing myself as the scumbag that I was, and I hated it. And I tried to bring that up to my wife. I confessed to her, and she graciously accepted me back. And I'm so grateful for that. And I don't know what to say. She's just amazing in that way, and I don't deserve it. I don't deserve to have been given a second chance. But it was through that like grace and that love that she showed me in that situation that changed me as a person. I feel like I found God's love in that, and it really just turned a bunch of gears inside me that just made me different. And so I don't want to go super deep into that maybe some other time. But what I will say is that I did come on the podcast and I shared my story. I shared my story with the podcast because I was leaving. Because when my wife said, I will have you back, I said that I don't want anything else to interrupt. You know, I want to focus 100% on you. I'm so grateful. Like, let's go. You know, and so I left the podcast. I sold my business, and I ejected from everything I was doing, and focused 100% on my family. And when I did that, I came on the podcast and we talked about the affair. And yeah, I did. It was my fault. I took full responsibility, and I still do, because, you know, it was me being selfish and me being ugly. And that's one of the things that, like, when you look at this situation, it's ugly. But, like, if you would have looked at my situation, it was also ugly, you know? And I think that there are situations in all of our lives where we look ugly. And if people were to see that, they would see the ugliness. And so I'm very slow to point a finger and to, like, no matter what he was doing, you know, and I understand, like, what he was doing was really gross, and what he was doing was just predatory in
potentially
nature.
illegal
And illegal, maybe. I don't know all the details about that stuff. And like I said, I didn't, like, read. I try not to, like, when I start to see, like, situations like this, I really try to avoid getting too deep into the details, because I don't want my mind going into those details.
Understandable.
Right. That's just not what I want to be thinking about or dwelling on. But what I will say is that I think everybody can change to be better. And I hope for that for everybody. I hope that situations like this will wake people like Jared up, Yuuya, you know, Owen. I hope that situations like this will wake them up and turn something in them that would, you know, help them to change. Now, again, I'm speaking about allegations with Owen, so, you know, I'm not saying, you know, there's anything he needs to change, but everyone, I think, has something to change. Everyone is a work in progress. And I think one of the most powerful things that you can experience when your ugliness comes out is grace, instead of a pile-on, and instead of, you know, this kind of stuff. And I have a hard time, you know, balancing those two things, because, like, I feel like I know the power of grace, I know the power of love, and the power of someone saying, I believe you can be better, you know.
Powerful.
I know that, but I also know, like, what I did was wrong, you know, and it hurt other people. And what he did hurt other people. And we should be able to get angry about that, you know, because people are being hurt, and that's not a good thing, you know. So his well-being and his quest, right, it doesn't go above the other people who got hurt in his wake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those people also need healing. Those people definitely need to be loved and kind of protected, you know? And so it's a hard balance to strike in how to, like, mentally wrestle with that stuff, especially coming from where I'm at. And that's why you will rarely see me, you know, pointing the finger at somebody else. It's because I could see all the ugliness in myself, you know, and I feel like I should show grace to people and hope for the betterment of them.
Precisely.
Anyways.
Got deep.
Ooh,
we
went a little bit deep. I think the chat is talking quite a bit about things.
Well, I wasn't going to interrupt you. You were on a nice train, you know. I'm not going to stop that as a conductor.
Yeah. All right. So what did the chat say? Let's see. Yeah. Uthanak, it says, did I just admit? Yeah, I did. I do admit to that.
He's out of the Hall of Fame, everybody. Sorry about that.
I definitely am out of the Hall of Fame. And, you know, I'm all the names that you want to call me. I am. I accept that for sure.
Like Jonathan or Medina.
Or scumbag, or other things too.
Those are only trade partner talks.
Trade partner. Oh man. All right. Different thoughts from Dub. Yeah, I think the chat is very much on the same wavelength. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I don't think there's any like pressing stuff. I think a lot of what they're saying is good stuff, and it's on the same wavelength. What do you think, Ben? Do you have anything to add to all of that? What's your?
I think we're good. I think Watsy's finally. Well, hopefully they'll come around to it. I think they're finally seeing the problems and implications of allowing regular people to be the driving force for your corporate
brand,
right. Because all these people, I mean, Jared's not really Watts related, but he's assisting with it,
right.
But these people aren't groomed to handle mass outcry of people,
right.
Or fans of millions of volume. These are just regular people like you, me,
yeah.
And then they're thrust into the limelight, and they're not prepared for the scrutiny that involves, and they're not being given the training. Like even in the NFL, again, I don't watch sports, but I just keep going back to them because
they want to be talking about the NFL all the time, man.
It's because I mean, I don't know either, but
I don't know either.
They're rookies. They have a crash course training about how to deal with the media, what you can and can't do on Twitter, like all of these things to prepare these young kids who are going to have a huge spotlight on them that they're not used to.
But the issues we're seeing is not like cannot be solved in training, right? It's
like, I mean, these things are past, but maybe these are things that they should be looking at going forward.
Oh, they should. Yeah, definitely.
And right. So, I mean, hopefully, again, not everybody can learn something from this. Hopefully, Watsy also learns that they need to take a closer look at the people that they want to rep their brand, and help those coming up to be able to be good ambassadors of the brand.
Right, I totally agree. I think it's an astute observation that we do have some situations where people are representing Wizards as a brand now, and we want Wizards is going to want people who can do that well.
Yep. Well, and they're doing it even with now even more with Arena, right? Like they're paying streamers to rep. What happens when the big streamers they do? What if they have a scandal? Like these are the people that they're actually pumping money into to promote their big thing. So if their big push gets a couple black eyes from allegations or scandals from these streamers, what do?
I think they cut ties with that streamer and they move on. I think
right, but I mean that's a black eye, another black eye, another black eye. How many times you get a black eye?
I don't think it's a black eye on the brand. I think it's just it's the person, it's the person's brand. What Wizards is doing is leveraging other people's brand. You see that. I just watched the Geek and Sundry How to Play Magic Commander version, and you see that the Geek and Sundry, they have another brand, a whole nother audience, right? And so Wizards hiring these people like Becca Scott and some of the other people that were on that show, mixing them with some, with Josh Lee Kwai, and different people. It's I think that they're reaching out to these brands, but if people have scandals, they can simply stop leveraging that brand. They can just say, we're going to cut our ties because you did this. Now we're going to go to this other, streamer.
But it's not so cut and dry, because then you get things like these headlines of ProJared, streamer of Magic the Gathering, accused of this, or Watanabe, Hall of Famer of Magic, cheated, kicked out. So it's not just that we'll cut ties with them.
Yeah,
these are like even the circuits that I run in with like video games, stuff like that. Kotaku is running articles about Watanabe being
right.
kicked out of the Hall of Fame. The ProJared stuff, obviously, because he's more gaming related. But like, there's more being put out there than I think they would like, and it will, especially for people that aren't in as enfranchised as we are.
Right.
You know, if there's a video game, just a kid who plays video games, and they're seeing on their thing that some Magic Pro is cheating and kicked out of the Hall of Fame, they're like, oh, a bunch of cheaters. Don't want to play that. And then they just move on.
Yeah, for sure. It's a hard. I'm hoping that, you know, hey, I'm hoping that they have good minds over there, you know, building these this brand and you know, steering the ship, because like things like an MPL those are your people, you know, and those are your representatives. And you know, now a streamer is less so. Again, I think that's a leveraging move, but the MPL, that's your, you know, that's your team. You know,
I got one final hot take to go before we go. I feel like we should do the oh man, I lost his name. The Apple guy. What's his name?
Steve Jobs.
Jobs. We should always do the Steve Jobs things. Like one more thing, just one more thing here.
But then we have to have the biggest thing to reveal when we do that.
I believe that's called expectations that they should put on us, and we should have to rise to those every time. Because,
right. So we have to come up with a foil sheet or something, right?
Yeah, 3 of them next time. But anyway, so we now have another vacancy, but they have not said who will fill the vacancy in the MPL. Hot take, who do you think should get that slot in the MPL?
Oh, who should fill the slot in the MPL?
Do you think it should go to a high-level pro or someone who could be an influencer? Like, would you like to see Saffron be in the MPL? Would you like to see just a pro, like a streamer?
I think it should probably just, for the MPL, should probably just go to the next person in the list, right? The next,
but it didn't last time. They went with the hot hand.
Yeah, I think they
put Autumn in. Well,
I think it should go.
I'm not asking you what it should do. I'm saying what you think it'll happen. You think that's what will happen? Because that's not exciting, right? They wanna put some buzz. That was why Autumn was perfect for them.
Well, but Autumn was crushing it, though. You know,
right? But like, they definitely were not the next in line.
Well, I don't know. I don't keep track of those numbers, so I definitely don't want to say something that I don't know. But what I will say is that the level of play that Autumn was displaying was high enough level to be considered for the MPL. I don't think
because they took down the first one, so clearly they have what it takes.
Exactly. And so like what I'm saying is, like, I don't think it should be a streamer. I don't think it should be Saffron. I like Saffron. You know, I think he's great.
Shots fired, Saffron. I apologize. I think it should be you. No, but what about
what does he say?
Someone
like probably not Saffron.
What about like Newmont?
No,
both high level play.
No, he's not. He doesn't have the pedigree. I don't think he has the pedigree of play. Right?
Oh man, Uthanek. I don't like Saffron either, man.
Whoa. Wait a second.
Either is including Newmont.
Wait. I don't like Saffron either. What is that? Because everyone on this podcast likes Saffron. I don't know.
We love Saffron.
I don't know what you're talking about. Whoa.
Probably
back up the train.
Better known as Saffron.
I like Saffron. Okay, don't get me wrong. And I like Newmont. I think Newmont's great personality.
So who else do you hate?
Fantastic as a personality, but does he have tournament results to put up against these other people?
What about? Well, that I don't know, but I know like in the invitational, right? There was they had a mix of MPL and non-MPL.
Right, but that's the invitational. That's a different thing. Like,
well, right. I'm just saying, like, but it's not like the MPL was 1 through 10 and the invitees were 11 through 20. Like
no, but that's a different thing. The invitational is like a exhibition match. It's like when Rocky fought Hulk Hogan. Like that was an exhibition.
No one gets that reference.
Guys,
you gotta hip up. You gotta hip up.
Tell me that you watched Rocky. I'm not gonna hip up, okay? Look, You get what you get. Okay.
That's true.
I'm
When
not
you
gonna
guys
do it.
come here, you get what you
You
get.
get what you get. You get what you pay for. And this is what you're giving me. You give me 0, okay?
$0 hairs.
Thunder lips, not flaming lips. Thunder lips. That's what you. Yeah. So, what I'm saying is like, I can't be cool. Okay, I am who I am. It's just like if you like that, great, come along. If you don't like it, don't. But yeah, Rocky 3, is an exhibition fight, and that's what's going on with the MPL and the invitees in the Invitational. I felt like the MPL are supposed to be like the high level players, and the invitees were supposed to be the personalities, the flair, and that kind of thing. And I loved the way that played out. I thought it was awesome. I even like started to like some of the personalities that I never really was exposed to,
Like
and
Saffron Olive?
What's that?
Like Saffron Olive?
I've always liked Saffron Olive.
Oh, okay,
I have a great respect for Saffron Olive.
Just to set that clear for the stream.
I just be clear.
Loves.
There was
Saffron
never
Olive.
a time where I did not like Saffron Olive.
He has 3 jars of saffron olives in his fridge right now. That's how much he likes saffron.
I don't know about that. Oh man. How about Randy Bueller? I don't know. Randy Bueller feels more like a vintage player, or like a like a eternal format player, eternal format specialist, or however you want to call it.
And we know Watsy doesn't care about those eternal formats.
Probably, yeah, not really. Like, if I had to pick a pro, who would like? Let's see, who's like the best? Like, let's look.
Well, what about LSV? He isn't in there. Why wouldn't they put LSV in? Wouldn't that just make abundant sense? He's the best thing they have going.
Here's the leaderboard for 2019 leaderboard. I like the suggestion of LSV.
I think it's great. If not, get him. If you don't get him doing that, you have to lock him up. You need to get him on your commentary full time. He's just a treat. He's is a national treasure.
Let's see. What about like is Finkel on there?
No. He doesn't play enough, I don't believe.
Right. Like, I think Finkel being on the MPL would be great. I think he's just busy, though. Because you have to stream every day or whatever.
What about, is Nassif on it? Is Nassif a MPL?
Let's find out.
Because if not, he's my pick. He is a Tundra Mage, and the Tundra Mages should be represented in the MPL.
It's funny because, like, we are the worst for having this this conversation.
Well, that maybe because of that, maybe that's why we're the best to talk about it.
That's right, because we don't even know who's on the MPL. So
nope, neither does anybody else, and that's the problem.
That's building.
The problem.
Okay, let's go to the MPL players. Here we go. Autumn Bruchette, Javier Dominguez, Alex Hain, one of my homeboys. What's up, Alex? Reed Duke. I'm not going to read all these names because I'm going to start messing them up.
Just keep going.
Who are we looking for?
Nassif.
Gabriel Nassif.
Mr. Yellow Hat himself.
I don't see Nassif so far.
Did they already take Watanabe off of here, probably?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, right there. There's only 3 spots.
They did not waste any time with
that. I would say LSV, Gabriel Nassif, one of those guys would be a great addition.
Yeah, sure. I think so. I'm down with that.
All right, we've solved it, everybody.
We did it.
Thank you very much for joining us on yet another Not a Podcast. Who knows? We probably do have to change that. We might have to come up with a real name, everybody.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to name this podcast because it's happening regularly enough that
it's an actual podcast now.
But also nobody watches it. So
it's like a underground.
Underground. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to work a little bit on the cube. So we're gonna wind down now. Signing off for Not Another Podcast. Thank you for joining. Leave your feedback in the comments. Let us know if we should keep doing this and if we should name it. Thank you very much.